Hello, everyone. Good morning, and a very warm welcome to today's seminar titled "Unlocking Design Potential of MSMEs." The seminar brings together the voices from design, academia, industry to explore how design can drive innovation, enhance product excellence, and create long-term value. This seminar is organized by the India Design Council, jointly supported by Ahmedabad Management Association and the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. The India Design Council is an autonomous body established by the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, Government of India. Its main purpose is to promote design as a strategic tool for innovation, competitiveness, and economic growth in India. The National Institute of Design plays a foundational and ongoing advisory role in the India Design Council. When IDC, India Design Council, was established, NID was one of the key institutions involved in shaping its vision, and given its position in India's leading design education and research institute. Through today's sessions, we hope to foster meaningful dialogue, exchange ideas, and build strong connections between academia and industry. Our director, Dr. Ashok Mandal, is the current member secretary of India Design Council. Dr. Mandal will not be able to join us today for this seminar due to an urgent meeting in New Delhi for which he had to travel. However, he has sent his greetings and warm regards to AMA for supporting this initiative and to all the attendees for taking out the time to be here with us today. Now, to formally begin this session, I would like to invite the guest experts for today's sessions, and also first Dr. Jamin Vesa. Please, sir, if you can come. And Dr. Amit Sinha from NID. Mr. Amit Paul. Mr. Pawan Sanhkla. And Ms. Apurva Pandey. I will request a brief round of applause for our experts today, please. I would now request Dr. Jamin Vesa to please come on the podium and please share his few words with us to initiate this session today.
Good morning, everybody. Dear distinguished speakers, Mr. Pawan Sanhkla, Mr. Apurva Pandey, Mr. Amit Paul, Dr. Amit Sinha, Mr. Shashank Mehta, and Mr. Unmesh Dikshit, Executive Director of AMA, and esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Jamin Vesa, a member of the Governing Council of Ahmedabad Management Association, and it is profound delight and heartful respect that I welcome all of you to this august gathering, the seminar on Unlocking Design Potential of MSMEs, jointly organized by the Ahmedabad Management Association under the banner of Dr. Jamin Vesa AMA MSME Development Center and India Design Council and National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. Over the years, AMA, we have held a steadfast belief that platform of knowledge sharing, such as this and the regularly convened SME growth series, have blossomed into a dynamic forum for dialogue, learning, networking, and collective problem solving for Indian SME sector. Today, we find ourselves at a remarkable juncture where the resilience of our MSME converges with the boundless possibilities of design, uniting enterprise, and the imagination and strength with the transformation. The theme of today's seminar, Unlocking Design Potential for MSMEs. Friends, MSMEs are not only the enterprise, they are the heartbeat of India's economy. They are contributing significantly to the employment generation, manufacturing, and exports. And as markets evolve rapidly, embracing design-led innovation can empower enterprise to create a greater value, adapt to changing the customer needs, and remain globally competitive. It is not enough to produce, it is essential to design. Design is the language of distinction. Design is the soul of sustainability. Design is the bridge between the local craftsmanship and the global recognition. When creativity meets commerce, when aesthetics meets affordability, when innovation meets industry, the MSME transform from being as survivors to becoming the leader. Let us remember a product may be made in a factory, but a brand is created in mind, and design is the key that unlocks it. Today, we are graced by the presence of the eminent, thoughtful leaders like Mr. Pawan Sanhkla and Ms. Apurva Pandey, co-founders of Vivaarta Design LLP, Mr. Amit Paul, founder and MD of the Design Age Consultancy Private Limited, Dr. Amit Sinha, Senior Faculty and Activity Chairperson, Integrated Design Services, NID, and Mr. Shashank Mehta, Strategic Advisor in Design and Education, former Principal, Faculty of NID. Your wisdom and vision will illuminate our path today, and it will be very beneficial to all the large gathering of today's seminar. As we embark on today's deliberation, let us carry this conviction that design is not a luxury, but it is a necessity. The design is not an accessory, but an accelerant, and that design is silent force that will propel MSMEs into the future of excellence, sustainability, and global impact. On behalf of AMA and IDC and NID, I extend a warm and vibrant welcome once again, and may this seminar ignite us with ideas, inspire collaboration, and unlock the boundless design potential of our MSMEs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jaimin Vasa, for your kind words. And before we start the proceedings, I would also like to thank Mr. Umesh Dikshit for helping us organize this event here, and maybe collaborating with NID for this event. And we also look forward to host many more such events in the future. So now we'll have a very brief presentation on India Design Council, and post that we'll start with the guest expert sessions. So we'll begin today with a brief presentation on India Design Council and this whole initiative that we have. So today's seminar, as we mentioned, is titled Unlocking Design Potential for MSMEs. Mainly it's targeted as how design can be used as a differentiator to accelerate the growth of MSMEs, how design can play a pivotal role in the development of MSMEs, maybe solve problems, how design thinking can be implemented at various levels of the processes in the MSMEs, and how maybe the systems-led design approach can be integrated at various levels. So India Design Council is an autonomous body of the Government of India, established under the aegis of Department of Promotion and Industry and Internal Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It is committed to establish India as the center of design excellence. And as I mentioned, Dr. Ashok Mandal, who is the current director of NID, is the current member secretary of India Design Council. Indian design at an important juncture. So in 2007, the National Design Policy was announced in the Parliament of India. And just 2 years after that, India Design Council was established in 2009 to implement the provisions of this policy, the National Design Policy. And along with the India Design Council, India Design Mark was also institutionalized for the promotion of design and protection of design.
All right, good morning. So what is the India Design Mark? So as we know, it is granted by the IDC or India Design Council. And what it exactly does, it evaluates and recognizes good design through a systematic process. And what it shows to the customers or anyone who looks at a product that has got the India design mark is that it's a symbol of design excellence. And it has been based on the Good Design Awards system. So initially, the starting point of India Design Council and India Design Mark, we had consultation with the Japan, people from Japan also, who in a way constituted how we should look into granting a mark that is uniquely Indian and for the Indian products, which the India Design Council can recognize. And people all over India should look at these products with pride, especially the makers as you guys. And and India Design Mark is a design standard and it's not a competition. It's not where all manufacturers just put their products to win a prize, but it is a recognition that the product that you made is a good design symbol which does the job accurately for the customers. And again, I'll briefly go into the objectives of what IMARC is. It is, as I have said again, to recognize good design, to augment competitiveness in Indian industrial output. And we know that we have a lot of products, especially if you look at any category. How can one come out with a product that is always better in various aspects? And it is also to serve as a reference for purchase decision. For example, I remember in the very early days when ISI and all the marks had constituted, they used to specially advertise, and we also as customers used to go and look at it. Okay, does it have the mark? Does it have a symbol where it becomes something that we as a customer can trust on, right? And again, to communicate the inherent value proposition of the product, to increase design awareness, and to promote the value of design in the industry and society. Especially in today's world, you know that design is a word that you hear every day, and also when related to each aspect, be it a service or be it a product. And how can we as manufacturers, as educators, and also as customers be aware of what good design actually is? So finally, to improve the quality of life by encouraging good design. And as manufacturers, MSMEs and companies, you can apply for the India Design Mark under these categories. So they range from lifestyle products to toy design to automotive and to even software and digital products. So yeah, and these are the categories of how one could enter. So application can be made by anyone, but irrespective of the applicant, the design mark will be granted in the name of the brand owner of the company, and with design credit to the designer and the design company. And this is something I think is also very important, that we give recognition to the people who are actually behind creating the design, and also who have put their blood, sweat and tears into creating something that is worthy for the customers. And for each category, a separate application and a payment must be submitted. Any applicant may submit multiple products. That if you are a manufacturer, you have products in different categories, you can submit each of the multiple products in the same category also. And more details of this is available on our website. We also have our representative, Mr. Sanjit. If you could please stand up once. So he is also the direct contact person for related to IMARC and handling behind the scenes everything. So if anyone has any doubt in registration and how to proceed, please do catch up with him. And this is a quick photo of the launch of the 15th cycle of India Design Mark that happened in 2026. So we will briefly end this presentation, and finally, just a word about us, Varun.
Yeah, so currently I am a faculty member with the Apparel Design Department at the National Institute of Design, Gandhinagar campus. Previously, before joining NID as a faculty member, I was working in the industry with mainly in the retail industry. So I worked with Fab India as a senior designer for a few years, especially working in new product development, developing seasonal collections, working on trends, forecasting, and way forward. After that, I briefly worked with Biba Apparels, again a mass retail women's ethnic wear brand, and there I was working as a senior design manager, mainly leading the design planning, range planning, and promotion of design. And briefly, I also worked at Indian Institute of Art and Design in Delhi as a faculty member before joining NID. And currently, my area of expertise in teaching is around design process, garment construction, pattern making, knitwear, stretch fabrics, and I am also leading some of the key design consultancy projects which are around uniform design for various organizations that approach NID. Thank you.
Hi again, I'm Pratik, and I come from a transportation and automobile design background. Here I studied again at NID itself in the Gandhinagar campus. After graduation, I was working for almost 5 years in the boat design industry, again with, a medium to small company where the motto was to design efficient boats and also to design solar boats for, mostly it was for the government, especially in the southern states. And this is also a place where we saw that the impact that design can make for the consumers as well as for the government and the people all around. After that, I joined academia, and I'm also currently teaching at the Transportation and Automobile Department at NID Gandhinagar. So, and again, as educators from NID, we would also like to welcome you to our campuses. So whenever you are around, please do get in touch with us, and we would love to show you around. And yes, we close with this. And
thank you, Pratik. Now we would like to begin with the expert sessions for today. First, I would like to invite Dr. Amit Sinha. He is currently the senior faculty with Apparel Design Department at NID, and he is also the activity chairperson of the Integrated Design Services and also the vice chairperson for education. He joined NID after a long stint with multifaceted professional exposure to design industry and has transformed from a practitioner to an educator and also a researcher. Amit is an alumnus of NID's 1996 postgraduate batch, and he holds a master's in anthropology, a bachelor's in sociology, and also a doctorate from NID. Being interested in research methods unique to design, he has diversified into a systematic approach to intuitive design concepts, color human interaction, anthropology of design, cultural ergonomics, and body data mapping, system design, and functional clothing. He completed several professional projects at NID, which include developing design curriculums, designing functional clothing, uniforms, and conducting professional training workshops. And he has been active with new research innovation centers as well. He has successfully collaborated with several industries on classroom projects and has mentored students for their achievement in reputed design challenges as well. Dr. Amit Sinha, please.
Okay, good morning to everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you. And I think we really are most of the time at NID, we are very interested in collaborating outside, and this is one of that extension, and we are happy for this also. And I think we do have a long history with MSMEs interactions, and for that, I think we will be able to take it ahead also from here. So I'm heading a department called Integrated Design Services. So NID stands for education as well as for service, because as we have been trained at NID, we don't see design as an isolated activity. We see design very much in relation to what is going on. And I think that approach, I'll be coming to that in steps, is very much integrated into our practice of education also. And there, if we talk about NID, which was established in 1961 after government had invited Charles and Reims, the designers from US, in 1957 when they conducted a study and they submitted a report, India Design Report to government in 1958. And based on to that report's recommendations, this institute was established with a particular focus that a lot of modern industrial revolution that was going on at that moment of time, how that can be able to integrate with Indian ethos and Indian practice of industry as well as design. So somewhere the whole idea of establishing NID was not about just an industrial growth. It was a lot about how do you connect between local and industrial and international. So somewhere I think we still follow a lot, so we can be able to look at different segments of industries and not only focusing on a larger industries, which generally is the focus of international design institutions. So we have been able to contribute at different sectors, and we have different campuses. One in the oldest one in Pandey. So we'll be able to, like, we have extended into two other campuses. One is in Bangalore and one is in Gandhinagar here. And we offer different undergraduate and postgraduate courses. And we do have almost 100 MOUs all around the world. And we are constantly active with most of them. And we have a lot of student exchange programs, sometimes workshops, sometimes faculty exchange or participation in different kind of interactional activities for the upliftment of design, sometimes collaborative seminars on design. So these kind of activities or research activities we collaborate on. So in terms of industry and academia, we are looking at our approach also to the education, which is divided into 5 different streams. So the first one is Faculty of Textile, Apparel and Lifestyle Accessory Design, which focuses largely onto, as the very clear from the name. And Faculty of Industrial Design has multiple disciplines which come under that umbrella, which include product design, ceramic and glass design, furniture and interior design, toy and game design, transportation and automobile design, and universal design. Similarly, we have Faculty of Communication Design, which takes care of animation film design, film and video communications, graphic design, photography design, and exhibition design. Faculty of IT Integrated Design is based in Bangalore, and it offers digital game design, information design, interaction design, and new media design. Then we have Faculty of Interdisciplinary Design, which are disciplines which generally have different kind of multidisciplinary inputs, and they prepare a different kind of people coming from different backgrounds actually are more interested into these kind of streams. It includes design for retail experience, strategic design management. And in terms of infrastructure and facilities across campuses, we have multiple labs and cells, which are, some of them are in collaboration with industry or in collaboration with the government bodies, and such as we have a railway design center in collaboration with Indian Railways, and we have one in handloom. I think I'll be talking about that later in detail. Then we have studios which generally facilitate all the different streams or education that we offer. So every design discipline has its own studio. Then we have different centers which are completely dedicated to research and continuous development of design, which includes Railway Design Center, Innovation Center for Natural Fibers, and Smart Handloom Innovation Center, which are in collaboration of different with different bodies. So in terms of R&D experimentation, these bodies that I spoke about, so RDC is the Railway Design Center, which has been constantly working on different kind of possibilities which can improve experience of people in the Indian Railways. So many times working on seats, comfortability, interior, material, sustainability, those aspects are given to or taken forward to in terms of improving railway travel in India. Center for Bamboo Initiative is also placed inside NID, and we have been constantly working on a lot of bamboo-related projects which started from Northeast, and we have been able to successfully provide and conduct a lot of international seminars also, and a lot of workshops actually in different sectors and clusters. The Smart Handloom Innovation Center is an initiative which is in collaboration with the Karnataka government, and which is placed in Bangalore. Then Innovation Center of Natural Fiber, it started with the collaboration, having a collaboration with the Jute Board, and we have been able to work a lot on a lot of development with the jute and kaya. Then we also have intellectual property rights cell, which helps if there is a new design and which is completely novel, which has not been developed before, or which has a potential to be registered. Then this cell helps either students or the faculty or anybody which is working in collaboration to put forward an application for registrations. So how the design application has to be prepared and all those things, I think in the process, this particular cell is very helpful. Then we have design research department has a lot of publication also. So a lot of field work experiences that we had have been converted into publications. Lots of activities we have conducted, or a lot of records that we have created by doing different research across India in collaborations or working with different grassroots levels. So all this research documentation we have. This was one of the biggest research project we did in 10 years to cover all the 7 Northeast states. It was funded by IGNCA, Indira Gandhi National Center of the Arts. Now I'll talk about the design services they offer besides education and research. So IDS is integrated design services, which majorly looks into 3 different aspects. One is design consultancy, which does a consultation project onto turnkey projects, like where you have a brief given by industry or anybody who is approaching us, and we provide a design solution to them. This might include a varied kinds of applications, which involves product development, new product development, or diversification, or making more options for the products, or improvising an existing product for making it fit into industry or into cost, or being able to create some kind of waste management. Besides that, we also look at processes where we are trying to improve different improvisation in the steps, so it can improve the work factor, the inputs, or the in terms of usability aspects of the project, as well as improvisation on the cost factors, or improvisation on the material factors. So those kind of aspects we work on. So the different kind of focuses we might receive it. Besides that, a big area of projects are also done for promotion and branding. So we have been able to help a lot of organizations in terms of providing, putting up their exhibition, developing their branding, logos, identity packages, or promotions packages. Then we have outreach activities, which majorly looks at projects related to grassroots level, how we can improve livelihood of people working at a very marginal level. And most of the time this includes craft sectors, or small town or village activities where they are involved into some kind of manufacturing, or sometimes even the working with directly or indirectly with NGOs and governments. We have been able to offer different workshops, different kind of skill development programs, especially offered to this kind of levels. Then we have research and development in terms of, I think I already spoken about research and development. Continuing education program is another aspect that we look into, and this particular program is majorly focused into training. So if any organization who looks forward for a training or upliftment in design thinking or design improvisation of the products, or some kind of improvement in their processes, they approach us. So we offer workshops for 5 days or 10 days, or maybe sometimes even 3 days workshop, for the improvisation at different levels. So this includes design thinking for management level people, or for skill upgradation for people who are working on the manufacturing aspects, or the process improvement for the people who are involved into the middle management. We also have a design and business incubators, which helps providing funding for students or different people who are working on design-led projects, and they are trying to develop that. And this we have done in collaboration with the Gujarat government, and we have been able to provide for a very marginal interest rate. We have been able to provide some support system to them, and even some space sometime if it is required, so that they can develop their idea into a business. So I'll just give you some examples of what I have already spoken about. So this is one of the exhibition display program project that we have done. It was by National Book Trust, which approached us for one of the exhibitions, which was in Mexico in 2020. So right from idea approval to collaborating on the ground level and then executing it on the space, we were involved at all levels. Similarly, we have actually NBT does a lot of exhibition projects with us. So many of these kind of turnkey projects are done by us. This one is from Frankfurt Fair. So this is one of the trophy development project where we had done souvenirs and trophies and for Employees Provident Fund Organization, EPFO Ahmedabad. Recently, we have been involved into developing invitation kits for the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and that kit, this particular kit actually was focused on to the 7 states of Northeast. So each craft of those 7 states were included into this particular kit by developing them into a small souvenir package, which was given as an invitation, as well as the stores that they are wearing. So everything was a part of this package. Then some souvenir development for Sansad Bhavan, the new Sansad Bhavan that we had done as a project. Like functional wear also, we have been able to work on to the ergonomic aspect of the products, as well as uniforms or any other product. Like ergonomics is one of the key aspects that we give a lot of focus on to. And this particular project was mainly to develop this gear for the women, because suddenly ONGC has been having a large force of women also working in this industry. Before it was only men-led. So the existing uniform was not women-friendly. So we had to develop that to become more inclusive. This was a project on semi-indoor environments, and this was also an ergonomic study and ergonomic audit of the semi-indoor environment. Some other projects which involve electricity-related safety. So this was for arc suit. In outreach, we have most of the time, as I had said, that in the local training and improvisation of the existing product, and one of the most key, most of the times, what we have been able to contribute to is how do you connect a lot of craft products or local products to the existing market. So that has been one of the key focus, and we try to make them more viable, as well as in terms of help them to think and develop some kind of design thinking so that they can be able to contribute themselves. It's not about that. Especially in these kind of things, we don't want, I think ultimate idea is also to how do you make people design equipped, and they can be able to do some development on their own, and some kind of thinking can be developed within them. So this was one of those start projects done by on a black pottery of Manipur. So you can see that the black pottery does a very domestic kind of stuff, but here the products which were developed were for upmarket. Similarly, some projects on papier-mâché. Then brand and positioning of the product is one of the key area that we have contributed a lot. So if you see that particular board on the left, right side of the bottom, all these logos had been designed by NID. Some or I think most of them are done by NID or NID alumnus or NID faculties. And some of the recent projects I have put up. Besides that, even for GUVNL, the whole different ecosystem of the logos that has been done by NID. This I already shown the invitation kits that we had designed and designed for packaging. So basically, packaging is also one of the key aspects that we have been able to contribute to. And under CEP, capacity building programs, we have been able to conduct workshops based on to the client's demand. So this was on campus NIT Gandhinagar. Kohler India had a training, design thinking training for its staff members. Then this one was by Bharat Electronics Limited. So in Bangalore, this was conducted. The design sensitization training program for integral coach factory, Chennai. So a lot of industry actually are getting into this design thinking program for different levels, and these are customized in discussion and collaboration with them. So a lot of lot of projects we also can be able to deliver through classroom collaborations. So many times industry collaborate with us, but no, these are not very focused, concrete ideas that they want, but they want some exploration, some innovation. So many times we involve students into those activities, and we offer some parts of it, or maybe fully the project under classroom, and as a part of the ongoing design projects. And within that, students have been able to contribute to completely new thinking and new product concepts. But these are time-bound activities. Generally, the projects are of 6 weeks, 10 weeks, or 8 weeks. So within that time, the idea has to be finalized and developed. So product design students had done this holder for the bottle. So many of them, like maybe this is during the RDC, the Railway Design Center, somebody might be working, and when this workshop was offered, developed this particular bottle holder, which can flatten and it can be opened up. So these are part of, all of these are part of, like TAD students also had worked on to some interesting future-centric concepts. So these are some glimpses of the classroom projects. And generally there is a lot of this thing about design thinking, systems thinking. But I think we somewhere are looking at opportunities where we can work across wherever there is a way. Because I think somewhere what is important to understand is design is not a one-time solution. I think if any company thinks or any organization think, if you look at the past also, we can look at the history of HMT, that you are very robust in the industry and you think that, okay, I have a very good product. But that transition of design used to be slow before. But if we look at the current situation, everything is changing in very fast pace. So in that scenario, it becomes very important to not to think like, I make a house and that is it. To live in the house, one starts problem occurs, people keep on solving things, or people keep on adding convenience to it. So similarly, design is that once a product or an idea or a service which has been launched, it has to keep improvising, and that's what design can do. It can just constantly contribute, and that's what has to be done time to time. Many times it might not be only developing design, but it's good to look at design as an audit service also, where it can become a part of just assessing where do we stand in design, where we are looking at product to be a part of or positioned at what space and what kind of interest of people. So if I'm looking at that, I also feel that are we looking at product as a solution maker when we are placing it in the market, or are we looking at a product as a part of people's life? So I think there it starts becoming different. Because if I look at it in a local context, if I look at it in national context, if I look at it in global context, everywhere how it fares in terms of materiality, in terms of sustainability, in terms of its existence, price points, and looking at controlling the cost, all those aspects. So in terms of design, if I look at it, all these aspects require some kind of intervention to make it viable. And I think design can work long-term in terms of viability. It's not also a very immediate solution-centric activity where we can think, okay, there is a problem and I solved it and that is it. Actually, design is actually an initiation. So once we integrate a thinking of design into our system or our process, I think it has to contribute at a different level by assessing it in continuous basis, looking at it, improvising. So that's all I can share with you in terms of my understanding of design. So we do look at professional collaboration through ideas, where we do consultancy projects or training workshops, and then research collaboration, where we have research chairs and collaborative labs with the industry. Then we have educational collaboration, where we do offer, like industry offers a 6 months project to the students, 6 months or 10 weeks project, where they can work on a focused brief that is given to them. And this is the first professional project for the students. So students mostly work in the existing client's space. Then we have 6 months, 6 to 10 weeks design project which happen in classroom. So many times we have been able to collaborate with some industry who wanted certain kind of development in terms of costs and all to be controlled. So we have been able to do some contribution to that in classrooms. And then we do offer placement meets where we can come and hire people for either for degree projects or for even for employment. Or hiring their services for shorter term also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amit, for taking us through NID's initiatives in academics and also its role in promoting design and working with various organizations to solve design problems, and also sharing about various verticals of IDS and how do they function and operate. Now I would like to invite our second guest speaker, Mr. Amit Kumar Paul, who is a practicing industrial designer based in Ahmedabad. With a background in mechanical engineering, he pursued his postgraduate studies in industrial design from National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad. He began his career with Amtrex Appliances Limited, a joint venture with Hitachi, Japan, and later worked with LML Limited in the automobile sector. Over the years, he has built extensive industry experience, working with leading organizations such as Hitachi India, Tata Motors, and Voltas Limited. He also developed strong expertise in new product development through his training at Total Quality Management with Hitachi. He is the founder and managing director of Design Edge Consultancy Private Limited, established in 2003. Over the 23 years, Design Edge worked on a wide spectrum of products at various capacities, ranging from concept development to launch of products in the field of automobiles and appliances. So now I invite Mr. Amit Kumar Paul.
Hello. Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the presentation. Today, I'll be talking about how design can help the MSMEs. So today, design is very significant. It's got a very significant role to play in the way we do business, like creating new products, improve existing products, drive innovation, integrate new technology, and optimize processes and reduce costs. This is all we know about this. Like design can do this, The two key areas where design can really contribute is identify and define your project, like the right problem of the customer needs and wants, and create solutions, innovation based solutions, finding the right solutions for that. So basically, for creating solutions, industries, MSMEs are very good at it. They are good and efficient. But when it comes to identify and define the customer problems and the project, it's very confusing, because most of the time people, are not able to define the project very well. So there, I think designers can really help, design thinking can really help there, where you actually empathize with the customers. So this is the basic steps of design thinking, the 5 stages: empathize, design, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So this is all we do in design thinking. The benefits of design thinking are puts the user first, inspires innovation, it helps some complex problems, supports better teamwork, collaboration, reduces risk of failure. Most of the MSMEs, they want their products to be very efficient yet low cost, interesting yet simple. And how we can achieve them is, basically there are 2 areas where you can work. One is design thinking at various levels and incorporate a very good stage gate NPD process. Now these 2 methods are very important for MSMEs because MSMEs mostly focus on the productivity and finance management. When it comes to design, they want design, but they are a little confused in how to go about it. So I would suggest that they can use design thinking at various levels and also incorporate a very strong stage gate NPD process. So these are the some examples I can give from the industry, some MSMEs who have used design. This is one example. There is a company called Geeta Mediquip in Ahmedabad, and if you see, they are into hospital furniture, hospital bed. You see that their existing product, and after they use design, this is the product they have come out with. And now with this kind of the investment required for this kind of a product is same as what they had invested in the earlier product. But this has helped them in putting their product in the international level, and their sales have doubled after this. This is one example of using design in the MSME. The second example is there is a company called Gelco Electronics. They are into various electronic and electrical products. So this is a stabilizer for the villages, where they wanted a very stylized product because they had done some study in the villages. They wanted the products to be very gaudy and jazzy. So we made this product, and it took off very well for the refrigerators and television stabilizers. Similarly, there was one more product where if you see the product on the right, it's a starter. That white box, we were asked to actually design this product, where we used design thinking and converted the same product into this this black and white small very smart product. And this has really helped them in expanding their market. Earlier, architects were not very excited to put this product, the white product, in their client's place. But after this, a lot of architects have come forward to use this product in the rooms. And there's one more product we had done, is a stabilizer. Again, this most of the stabilizer used in they are used for air conditioners, and people don't want to, especially architects, don't want to recommend stabilizers because they are very big and they are bulky, and they spoil the decor. So we made this product very compact and attractive. Now this has really helped their sales, a substantial increase in sales, and also they have now put design as a very important part in their new product development. So almost we have developed more than 10 products. So every product they do, they use design in a very big way. One more example I'll give is how you can use design in manufacturing. So we also manufacture vehicles, where this was a project for Ultratech, where if you see the product on the left, that was their existing product, and they wanted a stylized product vehicle which will also do branding. So this was in the right, if you see, there is the stylized product which did very well in the market. Now this is made from FRP, and it helps in making the product very robust. Now the idea of using design here was, one is the vehicle design that is there, but suddenly because the product was so good looking, it was launched in Gujarat, the MD wanted this whole product to be pan India. So almost in a year they wanted almost 200 vehicles. Now suddenly we had to expand the scale up the production from 30 vans to 150 vans. So what we did was we used design thinking here, and with the same manpower we were able to create from 30 vans to 150 vans. How we did it was, initially the vans were made in a different manner, where we used to make the structure and then put FRP panels on top. But then we reversed the whole thing. We actually made the FRP body first in one piece, and then we planted that body on the chassis. So the time taken to make that was 1/3 the time to make a normal vehicle. So this is the way we used design thinking to in the production. So these are 3 examples we have given. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Amit, for sharing your work and your expertise over the years. Now, for the third expert presentation for today, I would like to invite Mr. Pawan Sanhkla and Mr. Apurva Pandey. They are the co-founders of Vivaarta Studio. Pawan is a postgraduate in lifestyle accessory design from NID, while Apurva is an architect and holds a master's in design from CEPT University. Both the founders are formally educated in architecture and design, and the intersection of these two specialty skills helped Vivaarta to develop and refine their collections and their products. At Vivaarta, which was founded few years back, they strive to create a nostalgic yet simple, functional and tactile design that lasts. They primarily work with wood as a material. Wood is patient and adaptable. Wood speaks of time and of impermanence and possesses narratives of what has endured long before us, stimulating our senses in a natural way. Pawan and Apurva work together with this and they are connected by a shared belief in timeless aesthetics and wood turning method to create natural silhouettes and raw textures with impeccable finishes. Now I would like to invite Pawan and Apurva to please share their presentation.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Apurva, that's Pawan, and we have started this venture in 2019. So just to give you a glimpse of how the journey was. In 2019, as we all know, it was the lockdown period. We were all trapped in our houses. It was a very tough time for all of us. That's where a small seed sort of was planted in our minds. The only thought was to create something of our own, and that's where the journey began. So initially Vivaarta started with a collection of kitchenware and lifestyle accessory products. So in kitchenware, very specifically to do with serveware. So in serveware you have your salad bowls, your butter knives, chopping boards. So everything to do with serveware, we had it. And during that time, it was a stage where we were exploring things on our own, very, very initial stage. So understanding different types of wood was also essential, and our domain was to experiment with more than the woods that we see around. So we kind of work with, here you can see in the image there are different woods that you see. So we work with 7 different types of wood now, and we are we've developed that skill over time. So it's, I think design is just not about designing a product and just that, but it's more than that. It's about developing a niche somewhere. So it requires you to also understand your brand identity, something to do with not just products but also how are you placing your brand, what is the audience that you're catering to. That is very, very essential for you to understand in the very beginning. So also to design the logo, all the aspects of design there. So also as our backgrounds, you just heard about our background. So as me as an architect, and Pawan has been very fascinated with the whole idea of automobile design, and we always had this interaction and always had these discussions around these two topics. So we are very well influenced and very inspired, I would say, by two very famous architects. So one is this Japanese architect Tadao Ando, and when you look at his work, you will realize it's the core philosophy that he holds about simplicity and minimalism. So to him, minimalism is here, as you see, this very structure is called the Church of Light. Just to give you a quick glimpse, so it's actually just a rectangular box, and it's a church. So you see that slit where the light penetrates into the structure. So that is just the core, very important part of that structure, and just that simple element kind of begins to become the focus of the whole structure. So he plays with light initially, if you look at his work. So just the whole idea of how are you using simple things and making it functional is something that we've learned a lot through his journey of work. The other architect we really follow his work is Sir B.V. Doshi, and I had a chance to interact with him and study with him for a short period of time when I was at CEPT University. So if you all, I'm not sure if you all have been to the campus, it's around. So it's very interesting to see how he's built the structure, because it's been many years and it still is relevant to the times today that we are in, 2026. So this was built back in the 80s, 90s, and during that time, to play with volumes is something that nobody thought of. So scale and proportion is very essential, and plays a very key aspect in the role of design. So that is something we take from him, and for him, simplicity simply is just exchange of cultural ideas, traditions, and contemporary design. So it's a cumulative approach for him. So two different architects, very different approach, but they bring together this philosophy of simplicity, and that is something which is very crucial to our practice as well. And that is what some of the learnings that we've tried to take forward in our practice. So to speak of what we do is, process is a very important part of Vivaarta. And wood turning craft is a very old craft of Gujarat. And it is kind of the background of every product you will see at Vivaarta. And we want to, and we like to actually experiment and challenge the material itself. So we work with wood and we want to go beyond what is expected out of it. So just a very interesting thought that was shared by a famous landscape architect. He said in one of the interviews that, just a thought that what is design and what is manufacturing. We always have this battle around what is manufacturing and what is design. So he said, if you have a very simple, a well-made table with 4 legs and top, a very functional table, manufactured out of a workshop by a manufacturer, it's great. It's good to use. You can very well work on it. You can have your dinners on it. You can eat on it. So it's a functional table. No problem with that. So then, what is the role of a designer then? So he then talks about the exchange or the kind of negotiation of thoughts that you need to have as a designer. It's that point where you start negotiating with the ideas or with the thoughts that you can do something more than just the limit. So for a designer, it can be anything. Maybe a designer can say, I want to make this table as light as a feather. Somebody might say, I want to work with the idea of tactility. So it really differs from a designer to designer, and it's very specific to the person. So when you start challenging those ideas and you start bantering through those ideas is where that role of a designer takes place. So that was very interesting, and that's what we like to, also do with our practice, is challenge the whole idea of materiality. So this is just a few other range of products that we do. So we are also into lighting design now, and this is one of our iconic lights, the Zuzu light, as it's called. So Zuzu is, as you see the form, it's all sphere, together. So Zuzu is a meditative prayer bead in Japanese, and as you look at the colors of the wood, they're all the natural colors of the wood, and we like to celebrate the grain and every true color of the wood. And when you look at the black in the center, it's kind of, taking you into that zone of focusing in that very particular point in that light. So it's just about how are you combining things, how are you working through the entire process. So this is another light called Eda Roku, which is, Roku means 6 in Japanese. And this is a chandelier. It's a 5 feet tall chandelier, completely made in teak wood. So when you look at the form, it's all hand turned on a lathe, like we said. Everything is, all the pieces you see here are worked on a lathe machine, which is the wood turning craft requires that tool. Many of our initial works were, like I said, in kitchen and accessories. So this was the range that we started off with in vases. And over the time, we have also been, inspired and looking at many Japanese woodworking craftsmen's work over the time. And we try to, better at it through our work. And many of the forms have been generated and designed over time. So now we have a collection of almost 100 designs in vases. Also, as you see those vases, it's an extension to our lighting range as well. So many of the forms have been inspired by our own work, and we've tried to create things from what we have already done. So design is not always creating something new, but it's also looking back sometimes and understanding what you've done, what kind of worked in the process, and how can you take it forward. Can you take it forward? So this particular light was, featured in multiple magazines. So Design is one of an international architecture magazine in the United Kingdom, and we were also featured. The same light, Sinuous Lamps, was featured in the Financial Times UK. Another very interesting light that we really enjoy is Tatsumaki. It's all fine turned on a lathe again. This is Wengi wood. It's one of the hardest wood to work with, and it's a table lamp. So you see all the curves and the form. They're all dictated by the lathe machine. So many of the things happen. The process happens on that machine. So you cannot just say that I'm going to just as a designer we are only going to design, and we only have to do with our laptops, our screen, our pen and paper. It's not that. I think it's very, very important to there has to be a hand and mind connection. So you should be knowing how the material works. In order to know that, you should be able to work with the material as well. So it's very, very essential for a designer to also tap into those other domains, so that you can bring together a good design. So to speak, so our process is, very straightforward. It's a block of wood, starts developing first on the lathe machine. So most of the ideas, most of the iterations, most of the tweaks happen on this in this very initial process. And from there, lots of forms have been derived. So actually, Vivaarta itself means, an illusory of a form which is caused by human error. So that human error happens on this machine because it's carved out by the hand of the craftsman who's doing the work. So, most of our forms are actually a mistake, and it's happened by mistake. And we like to embrace and enjoy those errors. And that has become a part of this process and lead on to the designs that you see today. So, after the lathe, yeah. No, sir. Actually, Vivaart is the word. It's a Sanskrit word, Vivaart. And we have exaggerated it into Vivaarta. Yeah. Vivaart means illusory of a form. Yes, yes, yes. So that illusion you see is all the curves and the lines that you see when it runs on the lathe. Yes, by human mistake specifically. So that so that error happens on this machine, and then when the form is kind of created and we are done with the main form is when the sanding happens. And there is a lot of discipline in actually our process of sanding, because it doesn't take 1 or 2 rounds. It's multiple rounds of sanding, hand sanding, and that happens in the studio. So it's a very, very crucial part after the stage 1, where we painstakingly, our artisans sand each and every product at the workshop to make sure that each and every piece that leaves out of the workshop is to the T, close to what we're trying to achieve. And so it's all about just celebrating the grain. For us, we do not like to seal any of our products. So all the colors and all the grains that you see are the natural colors and the grains of the wood. There is no sort of artificial coloring or lacquer that we don't stain our products. This is one of the pieces that art pieces that we've done for a client in Gandhinagar. So this piece is called Namyoto. It's a 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet artwork. And this Namyoto means sound of waves. So it's basically a journey that you see. So you are the viewer of this piece, and the 2 boats that you see. So the waves are guiding you towards your destination, to a life that belongs in that island in the very corner. So you actually see the waves directing you to that life. So it's just a small take, from our end to create this piece. And along this journey, we have done a couple of exhibitions across in Kolkata, in Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad. So lots of people that we've met in this journey, and mostly architects that we've connected with. And it's not a linear journey. There is exhibitions are extremely important in our practice, I would say, because like sir also mentioned initially, that trends keep there are lots of things that are changing nowadays. So you have to keep at it. And it's not important to follow a trend. You don't need to follow a trend. I think it's very individual, but you need to understand and study the trends. What's happening around you is very, very crucial, so you can bring in something from that into your practice and be relevant to the times. So I think that is more crucial than following a trend. And that's just a little bit of something that we try to achieve. And it's been around 8 years for our practice now. We are located in Gandhinagar. For us, I think design is not just one thing, it's multiple things together, because there are different people who kind of, are a part of this. It's not just a designer, it's also a manufacturer. Both of them have to work together in order to, innovate something. So I think, it's a cumulative approach. So for us, I think design is a cumulative approach. It's not a singular thing. And that's just a little bit about us. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
I just want to add something in it. So my background was a automobile designer when I was in Tata Motors. Uh, I study lifestyle X-ray design from Gandhinagar, but my inclination was towards automobile design. Then I got into Tata Motors and design department. And when I left Tata Motors, I came to Ahmedabad and we just discussed about something in pandemic time. And that was this Vivaarta only. And you can see the each and every form, you can see the lines quality and that curves tension because of our knowledge about automobile design. When you talk about the automobile design, uh, you talk about the strokes of your line, okay, because it's aerodynamic. You can't lose that line. So you can see each and every product has that tension. That curve is very precisely made. And we are talking about the Vivaarta means that illusionary form of human error. Uh, and that happened in our products when we were carving that block of wood on lathe, and we were discussing about the form when whatever we made on paper and we were translating into a product, right? So at that moment we by mistake we did something, uh, carved more or maybe less, so we got a form, this kind of form. So you can see each and every forms has a simple lines, right? This you can see here. So yeah, this was I wanted to talk about, and yeah, that's it. I think unlocking design potential of a MSME. So these are the designs philosophy Vivaarta is uh, think about, and yeah, this kind of work we do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pawan and Apurva, for taking us through that wonderful journey. I also remember as a junior of Pawan, always seeing him work on transportation projects, and the way he looks at materials like clay, wood, and all. So next, I would like to, take you all to an exciting session that is a panel discussion. And just before that, I would like to introduce Sri Shashank Mehta, and yeah, he's here. So I'll give a very brief introduction, sir. So if you could please step on stage. So Sri Shashank Mehta is a mechanical engineer and product designer. Uh, he currently is a strategic advisor, design and education, and currently works with NID. But Shashank recently retired from NID after a long, impactful, and successful tenure. He has worked with small, medium, and large scale industries as well as in the crafts and social sectors. Over the years, he has taught various courses to both the undergraduate and postgraduate levels and spearheaded the introduction of many new impactful courses such as indigenous innovation, service design, design audit, and introduction to experience design to keep up with the rapidly changing demands and aspirations of the industry and economy. Today, he continues to work as a strategic advisor, guiding institutions and organizations to harness design for sustainable growth and social impact. So again, thank you for coming, and we are very lucky to have you, sir. Please. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Amit Sinha to the stage. Mr. Amit Paul, Mr. Pawan Sanhkla, and Ms. Apurva. So to start with, I think firstly we would like to start with you, sir, Shashank. You have worked directly with over 200 MSME clusters across India through Design Clinic scheme. From that experience, as per your experience, how do you think design is perceived by MSMEs?
Yeah, okay. It's a great pleasure to be here. And also, it's kind of a, of course, as he already introduced, I retired from the NID service last year. But before that, about 35 years, I was with NID, and before that, I studied at NID. So while I think the design clinic scheme that he mentioned, I worked with MSMEs and everything. But even before that we started, I had a very good interaction with the industries in Ahmedabad. Right? Because as a designer, when I was a student here, that was in I think 80s, okay, 85 or 86 at that time. All the time we had to go to the industries and work with them also. Then when I came back at NID, I had to take my students, okay, to the industries and also demonstrate them, also work with quite a few industries also. So over the years, I mean, I worked with many industries in Ahmedabad and also outside. But through that experience, one good thing about NID and this institute is, if you have seen kind of education institutes, they are mostly focused on education, right? But as a design institute and NID, we sometimes call it as a kind of this medical college model, right, where the faculty professors have to be constantly working on projects, right? Okay, because we have to bring in money so that we can support education, right? So we worked on many professional projects, right? And that gave us experience as to what happens and how it works and everything. That helped us to understand what are the industries. Right. Because if you look at it, 95% of Indian industries, they're MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises. Right, okay. Their expectations, requirements are quite different. The way the large industries, they can afford designers, and now also it's happening, right? Okay, that they can even get designers from abroad also, right? And their requirement is very specific to design, right? But this micro, small and medium enterprise, first of all, their kind of the clarity about where is design required, that itself is not clear, right? Because it's not their fault, right? Because in kind of MSMEs, you are dealing with all, right from kind of a material procurement to manufacturing to marketing and all that one person is handling, and okay, part of the thing. So we sometimes call it as that design, kind of a technology, marketing, design, they all get intertwined, right? They get mixed up. So you require somebody who can separate it out, understand that what is it that is required. So we could understand that this, what is it that is required. So based on that, I think in 2007 that we had also suggested to the government of India that design clinic scheme is what is required in India, right? That unlike large industries where they can go to the designers, especially for these industries, we have to take designers to the doorsteps, right? Okay, only then they will work on it, right? Okay, so that's a scheme that luckily government of India also approved, and when they approved, they asked NID to then implement it, and then we started implementing design, okay, and everything. So idea was also that if any industry wants to take up design, government of India will provide financial support. But along with financial support, as NID, through its experience and everything, we will help them to identify designers. We will help them also as a mediator person that can give them assurance that no, these designers will work better. Okay, they will work on this part. Okay. So in that context, we worked with MSMEs across the country. Right. While there are so many industries and everything, but we worked as what I think he also mentioned, about 200 MSME clusters So more than about 25,000 kind of industries that we worked, right from the Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh to the Kanyakumari to all different clusters. And one great thing about kind of a Indian design, there's so much of variation that you see it. Right, so much of diversity that we see. In terms of manufacturing, this I'm only because we work only for manufacturing industries. Similarly, there are service industries also. Right, okay. And from craft sectors that we see it in Northeast also to the Punjab, and manufacturing sectors that we see it in Punjab and Haryana and this part, and I think also to the kind of also the central Indian industries that we see also, which are more it's evolved from crafts based, but it's more moved into production based industries. So the variety, there's a huge variety of industries that we see. Of course, I mean, around the world, most kind of economy is supported through MSMEs. Like whether we see it is Japan also or Germany also, and okay, this part. So it's nothing new that MSMEs are more in India, but the kind of also their approach and the type of industries that we have in India, they're quite different. So we got the opportunity to work with most of them. And then few of them that emerged, okay, because it's such a large kind of a area. Micro, small, medium enterprise, majority of micro enterprise, they are craft sectors. Majority of micro enterprise, they are informal sectors. Right? Majority of micro and small scale industries, they are component manufacturers. Right? So they provide components to somebody else in the country. Right? So that variety that kind of you can see around the world, country, and there are very few industries which actually provides their own products. Right? Okay, and fine. When it comes to component manufacturer, informal kind of sectors, and one thing that emerged, and I will give you a quote. I mean, okay, in the sense I was working with Ambala, okay, one of the industries. Okay, with Ambala, in fact, if you see all the scientific instruments in engineering college and colleges that we see, they all come from Ambala. Right, okay, there's a very small cluster, and good part about also the country, very small cluster in a small village in kind of I think you can see it in West Bengal. In one small village, they only roll agarbattis. Right. But 50,000 women who are employed in rolling agarbatti. Right. They provide all over the world. Similarly, I think in Calcutta itself, 24 Pargana, they make medical equipments, which are all the surgical equipments, okay, and the right, scissors and these and other things that they make. They are the second best in the world. But they all make those equipments in small kind of setups and everything, right? And they get mixed, okay, so also assembled and then they supply, okay, and they go out and so there are variety of those industries that we find it here. But then majority of them, they say, because they are all dealing with competition. Right? I mean, what is say it is also, and which we also understand that the manufacturing that started from China. Right? Earlier, China was the manufacturing hub. In few years' time, from China, which we are seeing it is moving towards Malaysia, Indonesia. We are kind of missing out the bus. Right? But next 10, 15 years' time, it's going to go to African countries. Right? Because only on the labor you can't survive. So that's what also is happening. So one very nice quote that one fellow, I mean, when I was dealing with industries and everything, Ambala, he said, we survive, हम भूखे नहीं मरते, लेकिन तरक्की नहीं करते. Yeah, that was the quote. Right? That हम भूखे नहीं मरते, लेकिन तरक्की नहीं करते. Now there's a very critical problem of most of the MSMEs. Right? Okay. They can't move up in value chain, right? They start with 10 people organization, 1 crore setup, okay, or maybe market, this one, but moving up in that becomes very, very difficult. And by that time, either some kind of industry from China or something, they will take over, right? And there are clusters which are now closing down in the country. And so one of the critical problem of this, as what you asked also, is this one. Most of the MSMEs, they require also that they have worked very hard. They have created that setup and everything. Okay. But beyond that, how do we move up? How do we compete with some of the best large industries? Right? Okay. I mean, India, you will find also lighting, I think you also sold the lighting, and I think there are many kind of lighting, small lighting equipment industries, and see, they are set up with maybe 10 lakh set kind of investment, 50 lakh investment. Okay, they are competing with Philips, and even much larger, which has their own kind of a R&D itself is about 50 crore setup and everything, right? But then in competition in market, they are all same. Right. So how do we find out the advantage and kind of a strength of these industries and work based on that industry? Right. The moment as a kind of a, when we talk about it in a kind of economic sense, kind of a from context and thing, the marketing person will always say that you have to put in money. But the designers say that identify this unique strength of these industries and utilize those unique strengths of this industry and then take it further, which is what I think few of those examples which I think Vivaarta showed also, or the Amit also showed, anything. The critical strength of designer is to find out unique strength of that specific industry. And most of the time when it comes to kind of MSMEs, we say that we convert those constraints into unique opportunities. Right? Which most of the time the industry say that these are constraints. We don't have resources, we don't have money, okay, we don't have staff, anything. We convert that into unique strength, right? Which is that their kind of also turnover is very fast, right? They can change design very fast. They can provide it at a local level. They have a good connect at a local stage, right? Market is moving from mass production to mass customization, right? All over the world, right? Okay, which is what is the core strength of MSMEs. Right, that they can provide those mass customized part of it. So one of this one that we said also, the point issues that were identified was that they have a problem that kaise tarakki karna hai, that's another problem. Second problem that they find is that because one person is handling everything, when the issues comes, how do they handle issues, right? In fact, in this, I think probably in the same very room, one of the kind of a industry fellow had said from Gujarat, okay, the way MSMEs work is सोचा, हमने देखा, सोचा और किया, right? The moment we find something, we think something and implement it, right? Okay. So whole thing is that we don't kind of also think of it in terms of holistic understanding from a future part and thing. कुछ भी हुआ, okay, लोचा, सोचा और किया. He had told me, okay, I mean, this is what he had said. लोचा, सोचा और किया. The moment जब लोचा होगा, हम सोचेंगे और immediately implement करेंगे. Right? We require little more systematic understanding now. We require little more systematic way of processing it, which is what design brings it. Right? Okay. So that's the reason why this industries requires little bit of design and understanding. Design and can also support. Right? That how do we do it? One of the major problem also that I have worked with industries also that we think about some improvement, we make it, right? We try it out. When we make it anything, we realize that there are 5 problems. So we make another one, improved version, right? Then we improve again. Right? So industry, they always spend so much of money, and especially in MSMEs, so much of money that is spent on making things, trying it out, testing it out and everything. Today, nobody has that time. Right? So all that efforts of making it, trying it out, testing it out, they have to be on paper. Right? You can't spend money on making things and everything, which is what designers bring in. Right? That they can create ideas on paper. Right? They can show it to you, so you can visualize actually. Right? This is another kind of a strength which designers have to use it. Right? Okay. So I mean, we can discuss more about it and think, okay, but these are few kind of a strength which Indian MSMEs they require, and we, after working with 200 clusters and everything, we could actually can demonstrate that how design can help them, right? In a more positive ways. And I think today there are quite a few industries in the country which are now become a successful case studies that through that design clinic scheme intervention, they have become a multi-million kind of industries kind of part and thing. So I'll stop here. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I think that, yes, it is a very in-depth perspective of MSMEs and how design can play, a key role. and to see how it developed from the start, and where Shashank sir was also able to be part of that and take it. So next question is for Dr. Amit Sinha. So now that when as NID's consulting side and you handle the IDS department, so when MSMEs usually kind of approach NID right now in today's world, what does this conversation usually look like from your side when MSMEs approach NID for consulting and for design briefs?
Okay, I think we keep on getting a lot of interest from different types of industry and different sizes of industry. So we always have general discussions on to what their requirements are. So we try to understand the requirement. And generally the requirements will fall into either a product development category where they are looking for a new product development, or with their own capacity that they are working on, or sometimes they are looking for upgradation of a product, like they have a product but they find that there is a lot of competition, but their product is somewhere, even after having some good potential, is not placed well in the market. So we try to actually help them chalk out exact what can be done about the improvement of the product. And third is sometimes it is not about the product but also how to develop other potentials like sustainability, because in the future a lot of talk about sustainability. So how to look at reducing wastage or working on some improvisation in the processes. So these kind of interactions happen. And our interaction with MSMEs is mostly that we help them to chalk out exact problems and build the scope. And it also depends on how we can look at the possibility. It also, I understand that many times cost becomes the factor. So we do have different kind of possibility that whether they can afford a design solution through an ID or by hiring a designer, or else if that is not the possibility, they can look forward to having an intern for 6 months who will work on to full time onto that particular problem. Sometimes they also give us consultancy projects from providing the existing products. So we have received some, and some very successful projects have been done under that. Many times, I think in the beginning there is a lot of hesitance also, so we tell them to try it out through classroom projects. So if they see any potential, we can take it further. So that possibility is also there, where we have different mindset, different people coming from different parts of India. The many students they are highly energetic and innovative, so they work onto these briefs and they come up with interesting solutions. So that's the way we interact generally.
Thank you so much. And Sri Amit Paul, I wanted your perspective on this matter, because Design Edge is a very established firm. So when they come to you initially for probably the first time, people who want to include design for the first time in their company, so how does that conversation look like from your point of view?
No, if somebody wants to do use design in their business, so they come with a brief, so they come with an intent ki this is what we want to do, this is our business. And so what we do is that we help them in defining the brief very well, because that is where most MSMEs, they find it difficult. So we help them in that, and then we develop designs for them. Another area where MSMEs really have a problem is that they have good manufacturing facilities, or they have means to make it very well. But converting the design into manufacturing, that is where they have problems. So we actually help them there, even though it is not our scope, but we actually help them in converting the design into a manufacturable product. So and also the another area is prototyping. Prototyping is another area where we help them because most of the MSMEs, they have a particular way of working. So what happens is that if there is a design which incorporates different material or different process, they find it very difficult to incorporate them, because their manpower is not capable of doing that. So we help them See, there are two ways of designing. One is that you design products with the existing manufacturing capability of the MSME. Another is that you design products in such a way that it will do better in the market. So if there is a new process or a new material, there we actually help them. We handled them to incorporate that. Either we find vendors for them who can make it and give it to them, or we can help them establish the process in-house. So these are the things. I'll just give you an example. We were doing one, Gharganti. Gharganti is a very common product in Gujarat. So there is a company called Nataraj, and most of the Ghargantis are made in wooden, cabinets. So, but here the owner, he had an idea that I want my Gharganti to look like a washing machine. That plastic, top, very sleek. So the top we made in plastic. Now the company doesn't have experience in injection molding. So we actually helped them in getting the product done the part done from outside, and incorporate that in their existing manufacturing process. So these kind of things are very important, and designers should also take the responsibility of converting that design into a proper manufacturable product. So that is another gap which is not present in the big MSMEs and MNCs or big large firms, where you have proper people to take care of that, and they have the muscle power also, financial. But for MSMEs, that's a big area, big deterrent or constraint. So,
yeah, thank you. And just to follow up on that, Mr. Amit Paul, that as you have worked with companies of different capacities, from really large companies, corporation ones, and to MSMEs and smaller ones. So in your experience, how does small to medium companies design journey differ from a large one, and what does such a manufacturer need to do differently to make design work for them, also from as a business tool perspective, and how to push themselves further?
See, large organizations, it's very design works very well where the market is matured. Okay. Now, if you take large organizations, they have the design process is well established in the big organizations. Like, I'll give you an example of Tata Motors or Hitachi or big organizations. If you work with them, your role as a designer, again, you need to also understand that design means different things to different people. So if you in the industry, there are two areas of design. One is called industrial design, and one is engineering design, or the whatever is the domain you have. So industrial designs are people who actually takes care of the styling, the look and feel, and the user related issues of the product. And the domain specific designers, like for example engineering designers, they look after the efficiency and the performance of the product, and make it more cost effective and things like that. So that understanding is also very important. So what happens is in large organizations, you have all these designs very well defined, So you go as an industrial designer, you are given the work of an industrial designer. The engineering design part is taken care by the respective engineering teams. But when it comes to MSMEs, it is not that organized, So when MSMEs come to you, you have to also sometimes take care of engineering design. Sometimes you have to do styling and engineering together. And second thing is that, as I mentioned earlier, the biggest problem of MSME is that they are not very clear. They have an idea that what they want to do, but they are not very clear in they are not able to define or articulate the design specification of the project. So that is a very, very important thing. So, and it is, you can't expect them also, because they, as MSMEs, they are into so many things, The MSME, most of the time it's a one-man show. Yeah. So they will look after the finance, they look after the productivity, they look after marketing, everything they have to look after. So, there, but design is very important for MSMEs. if you see, it can help them in a big way, because it can, that jump, that what Shashank was telling about the tarakki can actually be fueled by this design. But then, because they are so much engulfed into their day-to-day activity, like, if you are able to, if you're discussing design project with an MSME, in between the 10 phone calls will come, aaj ye problem ho gaya, abhi ye problem ho raha hai, ye problem ho raha hai. So it's, this is a very common thing with MSMEs. So I would say that for MSMEs, how they can incorporate design is that they have to incorporate the NPD process, very important in the MSME unit. And this MSME, these people who are going to use design in MSMEs who are going to use design are MSMEs who are relatively large, they are making products on their own, not component suppliers. So companies who are actually into products, they can start NPD systems in their company. That is very, very important. And second is that they should be able to define the design project very well. They can use designers from outside, but defining design project is very, very important.
Thank you, sir.
Sir? Yes. Yeah. FPD? NPD, you're talking about NPD.
NPD.
In full form of NPD is new product development. Yeah. So what happens is that when you are developing a new product, okay, so there is a process for that. So big organizations, what they have is, let's say when some 100 people are working on a project, how will you manage the project? So NPD is a process to do that. So small organizations can also do that. It will help them in, reducing the time to market. Like today you have an idea and the day you want to launch the product. So it can be 6 months, it can be 3 years also. So if you have NPD process, you can define your time, So that, yeah.
I find it very difficult, while I understand and come from a design background to understand what NPD is. I've worked in a large organization before. I find it extremely challenging for an MSME because of bandwidth and finance issues to actually implement this process in-house. Second is, once the process is defined, monitoring the process becomes a second activity. Somebody with that potential and that knowledge needs to also be working on that. So I think that is where, while theoretically this does make sense, but it seems like a solution that is more fit for large organizations. Otherwise, I think MSME would have already adopted this at a large scale. So what do you think from a design thinking point of view is the challenge between, is the barrier for adoption of?
No, see, you have to see also the MSME, status. Like if you talk about micro or small scale, then it's little challenging because you don't have much scope to use it. But let's say if you take a medium scale, there this NPD process is a very important tool. See, what happens is that if NPD gives you a very structured way of developing a product. Okay, so you have various stage gates there. So if you follow this stage gate process, like if you take a large organization, big organization, there where I'm just saying for a project, some 100 people are working on the project. So there to manage them, you need an NPD process. That is fine, the procedures and all. But for a smaller MSME, medium scale product, where maybe 10 people are working on the project. Now 10 people doesn't mean that they'll work at the same time. Some out of 10 people, 5 people will be working at the later stage, vendor development. 2 people, 1 person will going to be working with the designer. Some engineers are going to be taking care of the engineering issues. But when 10 people are working, still, there is a lot of confusion in what is their domain, to which what area they are going to work. So NPD procedure or NPD process actually helps them in doing that. In the 10 people also, that till what time I have to work, what should be my output, this is what I have to do, and just leave it there. Then the other person is going to take over. See, now you are all doing it, but you are doing in a very informal way. And that's the reason why your time to market actually becomes bigger. So you are doing everything, there are a lot of iterations happening. Because suddenly you find out that, that person has not done the right thing. You go back again, So if you have an NPD process, you know what should be the output of each person. That person is going to only focus on that. And once output is given, it goes to the next. Second thing is that in NPD, you also have these stage gate where you have certain, output, performance. Okay. Like for example, you take a styling project. So what should be the final outcome of a styling project is that you need to have a look and feel thing. Either it should be a drawing or a CAD or some kind of a model. So normally that is happening. But when it comes to engineering, what should be the final output of that particular stage? It should be some testing. So you can mention all those things in your NPD. And another thing in small scale is that people keep on changing. People are not, equipped. People are not, they don't have the adequate knowledge, One person is doubling up as 3 things. So when you have all these things well defined in your NPD, process, then it's become very simple for the person to also learn and do it immediately. So that is what... No. See, the idea of NPD is basically to remove that confusion. When you are doing the entire process, that confusion which is there about who is going to do what. So that confusion gets, so your iterations become lesser. Yeah, you were saying something?
Just to simplify what also you wanted, let's see, finally design is, hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. So design is something, sometimes we always say, okay, this one, that especially for kind of a MSMEs, and this one, if your product, and we say the success for a designer can only be measured if the customer takes out his purse and pay, right? Otherwise, you will find a lot of people from a distance, they will say it's great product kind of thing, right? Okay, so that's the first, okay, final, whatever that we talk, whether it's designed or not designed, and thing. So that's the first part, right? Towards that, okay, how do we take it and everything? People take it in a different way. There is also a discussion that's happening is that yes, indigenous way of working, okay, because we have not documented, otherwise, that also has a good way of working. Only way design helps is that at every stage, when you move to the next stage, you check it up, all the different possibilities, right? So what we call it as a kind of your breadth, you test it out, then work on the depth part and thing, right? Which is what is NPD process, right? Okay, so that you start eliminating and reducing down everything. Once you start reducing everything down, everything, okay, part everything, that will help you to also define as to when can you move to the next step, right? When can you move to the next stage, right? Which is what you can start planning it out, right? The best way would be that, which is again, I think in Indian context, we are little weak in documenting it. Otherwise, your previous experience, you document it and everything, right? And work it out, what were the learnings, improve it, take it to the next stage, right? That helps you to move further, right? So new NPD process is, which we say normally designers, you visualize everything, right? Best way also, I think there is some kind of also advertisement in newspaper that this kind of also batch of car, if you have, you bring it back, okay, because there was a problem, right? So whole idea is that if the car manufacturer realize at a later stage that there was a problem, it's very, very costly for them to bring it down. So what people are looking at it, on paper, can you visualize everything? Can you check up everything? Right? So that's what is NPD process, that can you visualize your entire process on paper, right? Designers that do it on paper, if you can't do it, you make it through mock-up models and everything. You can make a prototype and check it up and everything. But as far as possible, how do you start kind of also compressing that entire process, which is what you can do it. And also, while one can learn from the way Philips has its own NPD process or Tata has its own NPD process, but finally, the great part about design is that you will have to develop your own NPD process, right? Okay, to find it out. Okay, so that is what you can learn. Okay, you can take it further. Okay, and through interaction that you can develop it. Yeah, I think that gives you some.
So basically, that is what I was mentioning in the beginning, that most of the MSMEs have two problems. One is that time to market. Time to market means today आपने कुछ नया सोचा कि चलो मैं market में कुछ नया रखूँगा. How much time it takes for you to convert that to a successful product? Launching a product is not important, making it a successful product. So that time to market is helped by your NPD process. That is one. NPD process means you have right from the day you make a sketch to the final launch. So basically it is broken up into 3 areas. One is from idea to your concept. Your concept is feasible or not. Then from the concept stage to the prototype stage, and then from the prototype stage to the launch stage. So these 3 phases are taken care of by 3 different kind of people, And second thing, very important thing for MSME is that to use design thinking process in your, earlier it was only for the designers, that designers will only do design thinking, but today even, the engineering unit is also using design thinking, So you can do that. Sometimes what happens, the engineering designers, they take a lot of time to come out with so there you can use design thinking. And that is what they do, large organizations are doing it, You can, as a MSME also you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking on processes, decisions, this is where I would like to come to Mr. Pawan and Mrs. Apurva. Vivaarta is a design-led studio making products for a global audience. What decisions in process, in materials, and in how you tell your story have made the biggest difference for your product's value and reach?
Yeah, so I will continue with that the question you were asking about, and then I'll come to this.
Sure.
So basically you were asking about this NPD, right? So for us, this is also new thing, and we recently working on that. And hello, yeah. So I just want to add something in it. So we are continuously checking our system, continuously working on the system to make sure that NPD is going correctly, or whatever is happening into the process. So we have to correct it. So that's why it's a lengthy process. So you have to be there all the time, and you have to observe all the points so that you can make it efficient, that system or maybe process. So yeah, I wanted to add on this only. Yeah, so come to this point that Vivaarta making lots of products. We started with kitchenware and we came to the lighting, right? So the process was, the breach was this, that one client told us about these things only. So someday you will realize that you don't know about your product, but the client will tell you more about your product rather than yourself, right? So that happened when we started lighting. So one client told us that can you customize a product with this vase? Have you seen the products like dry flower vases into lighting? Okay, and then we realized that we have to think more about our product only, and then we create the new products, like we started our lighting. So yeah, so I think the process, sometimes you feel that whatever you are doing is, it's not the end of that process. It's continuous process you have to think about, and someone will tell you about this idea that you can convert this product into this. So at least once in a while you have to test it, that I can make one prototype and then let's see what will happen. So yeah.
Also, I think, yeah, you. Uh, I think, yeah, it was our forms. Okay, so when we started, we didn't realize that our form language is going towards this direction, right? So we realized that our forms are very simple in those lines, and you can see all the products are very simple in form. So in Japanese, wabi sabi and yeah. So also, I think to appeal, like you said, to the global market as well. So there is always this idea of being local, just being regional also, and also to be able to tap into the global market. So it's always a combination of both. That's why we are saying that, I think like we mentioned about our approaches to understanding how the architects have also worked. So if you look at B.V. Doshi's work also, he's always he's able to tap into the global domain, as well as staying rooted and relevant to the weather of Ahmedabad and designing for this place. So it's always a combination, I think we prefer.
So just, I would like to again poke your brains here. Just, you have these incredible products which have very different forms also. So in terms of, for your studio, how does the storytelling about these products, how do they create, or kind of elevate your product's value? And I think this is something that MSMEs also could use a lot, where, the storytelling in a way probably brings the customer towards your products.
Yeah, I think not putting everything in, anything in your products. So you have to go step by step. If we are anything, like if we are making a vase, right? Dry flowers or light. So we can't say the light will maybe in your chair you can put lights and those kind of things, right? I am talking about like go step by step, and you don't have to put everything in one product. Okay, so that is the difference. I think you can make your product more valuable. That be specific about the output. One or three functional will be there, or maybe one or two, three function will be there, and that's it. And then you can make more efficient product with those elements. I think storytelling is very, very crucial, because that is what makes us stand out from the other person who is also doing the same thing. So there are many people we know in practice who are actually just, into the line of furniture design. So you see many different types of chairs, but I think that catch, of course, lots of other aspects of design as well, the finishing, the manufacturing aspect, but also storytelling, very, very important for design, because it's got to do something with your society, it's got to do something with your personality. It's a very human touch. So I think storytelling is very human, and that's what brings you right in front, and that's very important. So storytelling is a very crucial part also along the way, and I think it slowly develops once you have a design language. So storytelling is also got something to do with your design language. Initially, when you begin with an idea, it's just pieces scattered, but
Later on, when you're developing, ahead, you're getting more product range like we did. So we did not know we wanted to get into lighting. Like Pawan said, some of our clients in the exhibitions also that we've been to, we've had an interaction with many architects who have actually seen a different side and a different direction to our products. And, so the script also kind of keeps on changing, and that change is always important. And I think, so storytelling is got to do with a lot of experience. It's got to do with a lot of reading. How are you looking at the product, just not functionally, but otherwise also. So function is just one aspect, but a chair can just be a feather. A chair can be, literally anything else but a chair. So that is where storytelling comes in. It doesn't always have to be functional.
All right, thank you. So just stepping back to the conversations and about design thinking, this one is for Shashank sir. So design thinking is often spoken about, but rarely implemented practically in small businesses. What does starting with design actually look like for MSMEs? MSME owners, especially in the room today also, and what would be their first real step?
I think, if you look at it, design as such kind of is associated with aesthetics and pattern. But beyond that, and that's what we also through the design thinking scheme, we kind of could prove and also demonstrate. It helps you to improve the product from so many different perspectives. Right from kind of a better connect with users, that is the first part, but including kind of also improving the entire, all the processes, right? Improving maybe the quality, okay. Most importantly, all the mindset change that it helps, okay, and connect also at part and thing. So in a way, and which is where the design for MSMEs that kind of differs from the design for maybe large industries, is that at MSME, there are design opportunities at every step of product evolution, product design, partner thing. There is so much of opportunity for kind of a design opportunity or kind of a design brief to evolve. Right? Lot of time, and the kind of also the design brief that has been evolved is how do we improve the kind of a procurement of the material, or many times it has happened, and especially for MSMEs. In fact, we worked here also that normally ABS is used for kind of also injection molding and kind of outer cover and thing. The moment, there was some time that ABS was not available in the country. So one has to use HDPE. Right? So entire design had to be changed. Right? Okay, the design language had to be changed and everything. So design opportunity emerges from the variety of different perspectives, okay, and variety of different ways. Large production to batch production, if it has to be converted, right? I think one of this one which was mentioned also is I think this domestic flour mill, right? Okay, Ahmedabad itself has about 30. Earlier it was about 30 different kind of manufacturers of domestic flour mill. Each one has its own way of production. Somebody is using only aluminum casting, somebody is using plastic, somebody is using also kind of also plywood and as a cabinet and everything. They all create their own constraints and accordingly their own design briefs and everything. Okay. So the best way of kind of creating brief for the industry is that what is it that we have, okay, and mostly in kind of this context, it only happens and it kind of comes out through discussion with designers. So a lot of time, designer in kind of MSME context is considered as somewhere who is a catalyst, right? Who remains with the industry for a longer duration, who handholds the industry for a longer duration and everything. So more of an interaction, brainstorming and everything, that's what helps to improve. Okay, so which is how your design clinic scheme was designed in a way. So there are hundreds of opportunity that can emerge only from one industry itself, right? And good part about design projects is that while engineers can take up one problem and solve that problem, right? But by solving that problem, maybe two more problems can emerge. Well, designers, the design way is that you take up 50 problems of that product one solution can solve majority of that problem. Right? This is how design thinking differs. So somewhere I think interacting with designers, especially at MSMEs, at a much initial level, that helps also to open up the ways of kind of also opportunities that exist outside also, or for the industries also. And most of the time it has been now demonstrated quite well that design doesn't cost money. Right? In fact, it saves money for you. Right? It only adds value to you. At the end of the day, when you look at it, and you include the design fees and everything, in fact, the cost would reduce much more. Right, which is what I think Amit's also, if you see the few case studies that he presented, I think, or maybe I think they presented that while the idea of the designer, client went to the designer with something else, but by looking at the design, benefits of design and everything, it opened up whole gamut of other opportunities and everything. Right? Okay. So there is a lot of those opportunities that probably MSMEs can explore, look at it and everything, and also maybe discuss with the designers. Yeah?
I think from the practical perspective, Mr. Amit Paul, is there any particular example that comes to your mind when you speak about in parallel terms, where you have been able to use design thinking and in a way at last talk to the client, or the result has come out that things have been much more streamlined?
I showed that example. There's a very strong example that starter from Gelco. They had a huge box, and most of the starters are normally used where you don't have uniform electricity. Like for example, GEB, there the fluctuation is very high, so you need starters to cut off the spike. So all the houses which are having having GEB connection, they have to put starters in front of a AC. So architects don't really prefer starters because that's a huge box kind of a thing. So there we actually use design thinking to, in fact the client didn't ask us to go for a survey. We only insisted the client that we would like to meet all the users. We went to some remote places also. And then we found out that this is the problem, and then we solved the problem. And very big market is open for them. So design can really help. Gelco is an MSME. I think when we started work with them, it was a very small company. Now it's grown big. So, and they are using design very religiously. They are using design. For all products, they are using design. They can see the benefit, yeah.
I think one common concerns for MSME is often cost and capacity. So, Dr. Amit, how do you make the case that investing in design is not an added expense, but a way to reduce wastage and improve margins? So,
I think it is the way we think actually. I think today, if I look at it from industry perspective, I have worked with very large size industries also, but thinking vary. If you go to small industry or large industry or in between industries, the thinking vary that about design especially. The smaller industry generally think that design is a forbidden fruit. We cannot afford that because we don't need to, we don't have a design house in-house. So where will we provide that ecosystem? But today, I think in India, there is no dearth of designers because it solved the scenario of a particular time when design or design experts were very rare and very few people could afford it because they all were taken by bigger industries, or they used to even hire from abroad, because I have worked with many designers from abroad. One was that. Second is, today, thankfully, our country is in such a way that a lot of innovations are getting support system. There are a lot of innovation hubs are being developed, and institutions are opening up to welcome people in a different way. So there is always a possibility that you should initiate dialogue with design institutions, design graduates, somebody who's a fresher or looking at placements should attend that. Then you have also avenues to connect to attend. There are multiple design workshops happening all across country. So there are possibilities to attend online design workshops, offline design workshops. Why? Because I think there are different thinking it requires. It requires not to look at design as a separate thing to come to us. We have to see design that how we adapt to design. I think that's more important, how we adapt to design, because that doesn't require anything. It just requires a thinking. You start thinking of building that experience. And that experience I'll give a very simple example that we eat food. So there is a cook who cooks food and we eat the food. But when a chef creates a food and people pay very high to eat that little food, because that's the experience. I think how do you build that whole story of experience? They also talked about story is something that is important because the design thinking starts from the time it starts. So how there is experience of space, anybody visits my space, how they will experience. What is my design potential? So my design potential is into everything. So am I thinking that way? So it'll automatically come to your products, your services. So you need to look at it from that perspective. I think somewhere that is more important. Design is not a service to be hired. Design is something to be adopted, implemented, and inculcated as a culture. And that is more important. And that should happen. So it's also about motivation. Like design, when you look at a well-designed product, it's not about the product. Many people are making product of one particular solution. There are multiple solutions available. But why some products we look at and feel so motivated to use it? Same way, because the person who is making it is motivated. The person who is thinking about it is motivated. So how do we build that motivation culture? So I think feeling good factor is very important. So I think creating that experience is the part of design. And it needs to be inculcated as a confidence into everything. And when we talk about a designed product or well-designed product, it is not just a product. It's a high quality product. It might be simple, but it looks very, very tempting to use. So all that part is not only aesthetic that makes that. I think somebody who has well thought it throughout the process makes that. So I think somewhere the first thing I would suggest is everybody should first not look at, okay, what are the problem I want to solve with design? They first need to look at what is my design potential. So if I'm making something, it has a place in the market and we have a process. So what is the design potential of my process? How I can improve it further? What is the design potential of my product or my capabilities or my people? So I think somewhere that should be focused first, because you can always build on the positives first, because that's what is your capacity right now. So map that capacity. If you can't do it, you can always consult somebody to just do an design assessment or a design audit to figure that out. So that part is simple. That part does not require very long engagement. Then you will know that what should be your design goals in time. So I think this can be done by very simple engagements with institutions, designers, design students. So first, creating that culture is important, I think. So that's the first way. I also wanted to give few examples. Like I worked with a company which was quite big. I won't say very big, but it's quite a mid-sized company. The owner used to be really pushing to get Walmart or IKEA orders. And I used to think, because I told him that you design such expensive products and we go to all these international fairs and present these, and we have few numbers, and you go pushing for these Walmart and IKEA orders, we don't have margins. So he said, Amit, I just need 1 or 2 orders from them, then whole year my industry will run. So I'm not worried about my bills. I'm not worried about wages. Now I'll focus on design. And after that, every 6 months, we used to present it somewhere internationally. All those bookings were design bookings, were less numbers, big prices. But because of those quality that were presented internationally, because of that also, sometimes international companies used to give numbers. So IKEA is coming because you have that capacity. But otherwise, IKEA products are cheap and you don't have margins. So I think somewhere you need to change your thinking, or other way around. How do you create a space for design thinking? How do you create a space, environment for inculcating design? So I think that was one part. Second part, I just wanted to mention that a lot of international fairs have been to the trend pavilions. What is also important, everybody talks about trends, forecasts, and big industry talk about it. And we are overwhelmed about trends and forecasts, and we think that we cannot hire that service. We cannot even buy a book, because those are 5 lakhs rupees in a year, and they get, every time you have new one. But those are created service. Honestly speaking, all the trend pavilions, I saw interesting products which were presented by the people who presented trend pavilions. I have spoken to those designers. They said they travel around the world or even different countries to figure out who is making innovative products. And most of the time, these innovative products were from small companies or craft, because they had the time to do that. Bigger industry, they follow orders. So bigger industry, they need a design, they will hire it. They need a studio, they will hire it. But small industry people are engaging, so they are creating innovative products, and these are becoming the part of trends. So basically, instead of seeking trend, become a trend. I think that is more important. And I think when trend comes, I'm just giving their example, build your own story. Because everybody is making a solution, everybody is making light. But why your light looks different? Okay, why it should get noticed? I think build that part. I think that is more important. And for the future, even for the present, and for the feeling good at every section of your own process.
So speaking in terms of exposure, international exposure, that's where I would like to again come back to Mr. Pawan and Mr. Apurva. Your products are featured internationally be it in Design, Financial Times, Architectural Digest. So for a traditional MSME manufacturer, what is a realistic version of that kind of brand building through design?
I think it's a long journey, you know. Honestly, it's a very, very long journey, and it doesn't happen overnight. So it's just trusting the process. I think I just have one answer to this. I think Pawan can add on more, but I think it's just about trusting the process, and it's the most crucial part of. It should be the most crucial part, I believe, in every design practice, to trust the process. There are lots of things you don't know, lots of things people tell you when you go out and step out in the market. You have a certain belief and you are in a bubble when you're just working with you and your set of people, you know. But when you step out, so for us it was, exhibitions, just interacting with a lot of other people throughout the years. And they tell you a lot of things from different perspectives. And when you start and imply or try to take some bits of information from there and kind of switch on and off in your practice, that's important. And then somewhere people will just notice you on the way. So it's never really a conscious effort there. We've never really thought about honestly featuring any of our work, because I think that's never taught to us in design as well. We are only taught about how do you approach what you're doing. So I think just to keep doing that and to keep experimenting and exploring and interacting. I think interacting with people outside your domain as well, not just the field of design. So yeah.
I think the most difficult part of the design process is where to freeze your design, right? It's unstoppable. When you are starting your ideation and you are exploring your ideas into a sketch, right? And then sketching, you are doing continuously sketching, and then you have to freeze one idea and one sketch, and then you have to pick a prototype of that, right? And that is the point where to stop and what can you do after that, right? So that is the difficult part, where to stop, how to select. This is the best ideation, and this is the best design, so that I can go forward with this.
Thank you, Pawan and Apurva. So as we come to the concluding end, this is one question from my side to all the participants. So after this, we'll take a round of questions from the audience. So this is for everyone. I would like to have your view on this. So if an MSME owner in this room decides to take one concrete action tomorrow to bring design into their business, what should that action be? So Amit, Shashank, who would like to start on this? Yes.
No, I think the best way, especially for MSMEs, is that at the end of the day, if you see the improvement, the value addition, right? Okay. Value addition, as I mentioned, can happen in so many ways, anything, but that's for MSMEs. Okay, that is for Indian context. What is required is that does it help improve the quality of life of the user? Right. Okay. Somewhere that we need to start looking at it from that perspective, that whether kind of it has improved, because that's where one will be able to survive. Right? As I was saying also, the kind of a Prime Minister also gave the call designed in India. Right, okay, that's important now also the direction that is moving in anything. Industry is also, we all the time see it, any industry that we see it has to move from OEM to ODM and from ODM to OBM, right? Only as the equipment manufacturers you can't survive. You have to have your own design, right? Okay. Because and it's not only industry, it's the country that will move towards that side. Okay, even design also, I mean, people won't buy design, which is what has been discussed about it now. It's a brand, it's the experience that is what will sell. Okay, so somewhere that we'll have to start moving towards that side. Right, okay, slowly that can we move towards that part, or from OEM to ODM to OBM side, anything. So one has to look at it from that perspective, that are we moving towards that? So I think as a sorter this one, then I'll stop at that point. Yeah, okay, that I think as an industry, if we can start looking at it from that perspective, will help.
Next, who would like to?
Yeah, actually I think for MSMEs, the first thing they need to sit down and think, what they really want to do with their product in the market. Once they are able to define that, and they know how they can use design, and once you decide to use design, then there are many ways of doing it. You have to take help of design consultants from outside, and also at the same time develop you have to create an ecosystem inside your company for incorporating design. So that these are the two things MSME can do.
I think my suggestion would be that one most important part I suggest, I think smaller and medium industry need to focus on is copyright and registration part of the products are going to be stingier in future. So if we think that we can pick up an element from internet and convert it, or look at some existing product, develop similar, these things are going to be very difficult. So start working on your original aspects more and register them, even if it's a little lengthier process, but do take support of we also have a body, so we do take, there are multiple support systems created, so please start getting into registration of the product, copyright of the product. These aspects very important for all the small and medium industries for future.
I think just one question that we can ask ourselves, that who are we designing for, and is this going to last you in the future? Like, is it going to be passed down generations? Is your design going to be there 10 to 20 years down the line? If the answer is yes, I think you're in the right track. Otherwise, you're just following some trend which is happening currently. So I think very, very important to think of it a little bit emotionally, I would say. Design is an emotion in itself, and if we bring in that chapter into our practice, I think we are good to go, and other things just follow. They are, I think, formalities, which here on the panel everybody has mentioned very well. So I think to just be relevant also, and it should, like sir very well mentioned, that it should cater to something, and if you're bringing in some change through that, I think well done. So
yeah, for me, I think it's a system. So make a best efficient system, so all the problems will be solved.
And thank you, panel members. I think those were very, very, very critical bullet points. I think if one is a manufacturer to have in mind. Now I would like to open this panel up for questions from the audience. Any questions? Yeah.
Hello. Regarding the copyright in India, how far it is possible in implementing. Once the product is put into the market, many manufacturers are looking on that part, and they are copying, and a similar type of a product is put, and whereas the original manufacturer is down with the marketing part and the whatever it may be. So how it can be controlled? If it is copyright is taken, suppose I am an architect, all the architects are written that this is the honor of so and so design, may not be copied mechanically, electrically, or whatever it may be. So how far it is possible, and how to come to the conclusion whether it is a copyright internationally, not internationally, at what level the MSME can do that part. Suppose and Gita Furniture, they were manufacturing the hospital, furnitures, whereas the Garganti, Natraj, they put this concept. I want to give this type of Garganti like a washing machine, whereas the designer is also effectively reacting. Why to look Garganti like a washing machine? Why not to look like the Garganti as Garganti? So like that, once the design is done and the copyright is taken, the how far it is effective. This is very long question.
Yeah, you're right. See, basically, I'll talk about this Garganti. It's basically the client came to us. He was not able to define what he wants, so he gave an example that I want to look it like a. Basically, what he meant was that I want to look at the Garganti from a box shape. I want to look more sleeker, like the contemporary appliances. But regarding copywriting, see, when you design a new product, okay, it is very important that you apply for either design registration or copyright or patent, whatever is your innovation. Like if you have come out with a new technology or a new way of doing things, you can go for patent, or if you want to come out with a new shape, you can go for design registration. But design registration will help you, defend your own product, There's sometimes what happens is that if you don't do design registration of your product, then what happens is if somebody can copy your product and does a design registration of the same product, then he can stop you from doing your own, thing. That also is there. So every time you design a new product, you go for design registration. But that will not stop from copying. I remember when we designed the Hitachi Logical way back in 97, 98, there were 18 copies of the same design in Delhi. And Hitachi couldn't do anything about it, So there are a lot of loopholes in that, and people work on that. Now, when it comes to registration, whenever you come out with a new product, you have to go for it. I would recommend that you go for registration. It is not very expensive, There are a lot of agents also who can do it. I mean, lawyers are there who can do it for you. Yeah.
I think just to add to this one, as what also he mentioned, I think because there is a patent also, design registrations, copyrights, okay, so there are a variety of different things. Government is supporting, okay, and everything. So there are a number of kind of IPR centers which helps you to take it further and everything. And today's time also, more than kind of also our own, this one is, you have seen quite a few of like basmati rice, okay, right, okay, even kind of years back I was giving this example of this Kutch embroidery. China sells more Kutch embroidery than Kutch makes Kutch embroidery, right? And we can't do anything about it. And think, okay, so sometimes that helps us also, okay, to protect. That is one part. Second, once it is documented, right? Okay, it helps somebody else to then take it further and improve it to next stage. Nothing. So while I understand, okay, that in MSME context, we see it also that competition, improvements, that helps improve the products and part and thing. But at least it kind of a recognition that is remain. Okay, so that is what also, and we had suggested a long time back that MSME requires a different kind of IPR registration, which is much quicker, okay, and much faster, which is what they require so that it can also be changed. Okay, but it has both pros and cons of this. Yeah.
Yes. In front, yeah.
Yes, my question is that I understand and accept that there is great potential for design for MSME. What is the right way to quantify how much investment is needed from an MSME or a business owner's point of view to be invested in design? And what is the right way to calculate its return? You must have come across that when you have interacted with so many industries, and especially in the startup ecosystem where IDS also partially is engaged, where investors also play a big role. Then how do we quantify and justify the investment in design?
See, there is no right way as such, it is all dependent on it's very specific to that particular situation. I mean, you don't have any special method to, the finance guys will be able to tell you. Like, for example, if you want to come out with a new product, it will definitely, it will need some investment, isn't it? Without investment, you can't come out with a product. But how much the MSME is willing to invest, that solely is with the MSME only. Sometimes what happens is that the product might require a lot of investment, but then MSME is not willing to do that. So probably, and that should be communicated right in the beginning. Let me tell you, I've seen a lot of big players also. They groom their purchase department in such a way that they stop them from making big investments. I'm talking about Indian large organization. See, MSMEs MNCs have a very different way of functioning. MNC, when they come out with a product, they will go all out in investment, in terms of the development. But big organizations also sometimes work like MSMEs. They curtail the investment in terms of development cost. So there, it has to be mentioned right in the beginning, so that designers can accordingly design. Yeah.
Just to add to this one, in design brief, the cost investment is only one element criteria, right? Which both designer and the industry together, okay, and finally designer has to work as per the industry requirement, right? So there are a number of times the briefs are something that we are not going to invest anything, right? Okay, that's including, if you keep saying this one also, especially kind of consumer products, that there are a few kind of a small changes that happens is only graphical changes, right? That no tooling, we don't want to make any changes. Also, it has happened, especially I think the kind of industry that you are in, okay, of medical products and everything, where the kind of also batch production. So there is no mass production and everything. So batch production is that it is already decided that kind of yes, we will use only those kind of processes. We won't go into injection molding, but we'll go into vacuum forming. So quite a few of our also designers, they go by that part and thing. So while design, when they take it up, that's the reason why initial part of design is lot of research that happens. Interaction with the outside market, competitors that you look at it, technology that you look at, similarly interaction with industry also. And upfront it is decided and together you decide, right? That no, we are not investing in this area, we are investing only in this area, or we are investing maybe after 5 years, or maybe we are not doing. And if sometimes it also happens that the industry can say, I don't have the kind of response, this kind of resources and anything. Good part about design that they are more like honeybees. They keep working on many places and they know where you can do it, right? Okay, that's they can also provide you, okay, those also network connects and everything, that if do you want to do it with this one, let us try it out and think. But the moment a designer takes up a project, it's a combined project with the industry and everything. So it's nothing like this one that yes, you have to invest or you don't have to invest in it. Yeah?
Yes, sir, I think my question was coming from the point of view of how to take the next steps after this seminar to engage in design. And the first step was either to work with a consultant or with an institution or with anyone, right? So that from that point of view, I'm trying to figure that what is the right approach to make that first step. And if, say, the company is not willing to invest in the design upfront before understanding the context or the understanding the background and the potential impact of it, then how does that initial phase of engagement look like?
Right. Okay. No, I think then coming to this one is first part is that you yourself design thinking approaches that you use. That is one part. Right. Second part is also the moment you have looked at it and everything. One opportunity that exists that there are number of designers. You reach out to them, write to them, and I think normally designers will give you quote. That why it should be improved, how it can be improved, and I think so within the discussion itself, it will give you a lot more clarity, right? That whether you want to invest, you don't want to invest. So that's the second opportunity. Third opportunity is the number of design schools. All the design schools always work on live projects, students, right? So students take a project because they are learning. So that's a much limited investment, right? There's no design fees involved or any part, and it's only some expenses of making product. So that's a third opportunity that exists. Right, okay. Right. So similarly, the moment we start interacting with it, there are a lot of opportunities like that will come up. So does that answer now? Okay.
Yes, sir, and that leads me to the next question of this being a program in association with NID.
Yeah.
How would that engagement look like with the IDS or NID?
I mean, NID wouldn't suggest that you only remain connected only to NID. Even though NID has can reach out to product design department and partner thing, NID has a placement department. You reach out to placement department. I think they will help you to connect with professional designer also. They will help you to connect with the classroom also. That is one part. Okay, and even institute also takes a professional project. There is second part. Ahmedabad itself has so many design institutes. Directly reach out to them and everything, right? Design institutes look at this opportunity, learning on both sides. Right? You can go and make a presentation about your product. They will know how it is. That's one part. You can invite students to visit your place and everything, so they can know more about it and everything. And through that can be taken up. So that's the second phase that can.
I think just to add to that, I think one of the immediate thing when you are not very decisive about in the beginning, what you can actually do is a more collaborative thing where you can try to collaborate with some institution or a classroom project and invite them that once this design will be done, you can help them develop that into your units. So allow them to use your units for the development part. So this collaborative thing will have more relevant result and you will start understanding what would be the benefit of it. So later on you can make it more professional. Maybe you can take up somebody for the project for 6 months. Later on you can take a professional designer, or you can immediately be able to figure out that you can take a professional designer to develop something further.
I think to add to this one is, so that's why in design, okay, when NID started and now all the other design institutes have also used a very good kind of a system, which is a graduation project. Designers complete their entire study. Okay, after that study, before that designer is given a certificate, that designer has to do a 6 months project on real life situation with the industry. The industry will only give kind of also stipend and everything. Right? So whole idea was that industry benefits the kind of also the design in a much kind of also okay, limited resources and everything. They don't have to have any kind of a risk of commitment and everything. So that's another opportunity that you can take it up. So designer student can remain with you for 6 months. Take it the project to the end, you can take it up.
All right, we'll take the final 2 questions. Yes.
सर मैं हिंदी में बात करूँ कोई प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं होगी? ओके ओके सो मेरा थॉट ये है, जहाँ तक मैंने देखा, जहाँ से डिज़ाइन इंस्टीट्यूट से जब बच्चे निकलते हैं, देयर ड्रीम, देयर सेपरेट एनवायरनमेंट दे हैव, लेकिन जब इंडस्ट्रियल के साथ उनका क्लैश होता है तो सम टाइम वो कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ करते हैं अपना डिज़ाइन में, सम टाइम उनको ये करना ही पड़ता है, तो कॉस्ट कटिंग के लिए, सम टाइम प्रोडक्शन के लिए, वट एवर दे लाइक, पर उसके लिए उनका जो डिज़ाइन है और जो यूज़र फ्रेंडली था, इको फ्रेंडली भी था, तो वो जाके कहीं ना कहीं उनको वो हार्मफुल करता है, मतलब वो उतना ज़्यादा बेनिफिट आउटपुट नहीं आता है due to industrial benefit and in the point of view the designer जो requirement है वो industry कभी कभी नहीं accept करते. तो फॉर दैट कैसे हमें इसको एडजस्टमेंट करना पड़ेगा कि एक लेबल एक रखना पड़ेगा जिसके बाद हम कभी कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं करेंगे. तो ये इसके लिए आपको स्ट्रॉन्ग डिज़ाइनर होना ज़रूरी है और मेरे ख्याल से इंडस्ट्री ये नहीं मानेंगे, आप नहीं तो और कोई तो और कोई. सो वो सिचुएशन में आप कैसे हैंडल कर पाएंगे कि हमारा डिज़ाइन का यही ज़रूरी है और यही प्रोसेस आपको फॉलो करना है.
ये जो है आई थिंक कोई भी डिज़ाइन इंस्टीट्यूट में प्रोजेक्ट्स जो होता है वो रियल लाइफ सिचुएशन पर होता है. ओके और रियल लाइफ सिचुएशन में वो कंस्ट्रेंट जो है राइट. ओके सो डिज़ाइनर का एक मेन काम यही है कि वो कंस्ट्रेंट को समझे राइट. ओके बिकॉज यू कैन चैलेंज और स्पेशली इन इंडिया में तो जो है क्राफ्ट्स के साथ में ज़्यादा काम करना पड़ता है क्राफ्ट्समैन के साथ में. और ये तो क्राफ्ट्समैन का तो मेन वही है कि इतना वो एक कंस्ट्रेंट होता है राइट कि उनकी टेक्निक है प्रोसेस है उसमें लिमिटेशन होता है. तो अनलेस एंड अनटिल यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड ओके और उनको समझ के अगर डिज़ाइन नहीं बनाओगे तो वो डिज़ाइन मार्केट में जाएगी नहीं. तो डिज़ाइन का एक क्रिटिकल रिक्वायरमेंट ये है कि उनका जो कंस्ट्रेंट है दैट्स व्हाई आई टोल्ड राइट. वो पहले भी मैंने बताया कि हम उनको कंस्ट्रेंट नहीं समझते हैं राइट. हम उनको एक एडवांटेज समझते हैं राइट कि भैया ये है. एक तो ये है. दूसरा जो है विच इज़ नाउ ओके दैट्स वेयर वो डिज़ाइन क्लिक स्कीम का एक ये था गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो शुड टेक इट अप एनीथिंग कि थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा एक डिज़ाइन और इंडस्ट्री को सपोर्ट करे सो दैट दे कैन लिव टुगेदर वर्क टुगेदर फॉर लॉन्गर टाइम राइट. इसलिए हमने काफ़ी देखा है कि क्वालिटी का इम्प्रूवमेंट जो है वो स्टेप बाय स्टेप होता है. जैसा आपने बोलता है कि वो डिज़ाइन तो इंडस्ट्री विल टेक अप पहले जो है मे नॉट इन्वेस्ट बट व्हेन दे स्टार्ट रियलाइजिंग एनीथिंग तो क्वालिटी इंप्रूव होती है और ये करके. तो दोनों तरफ से जो है बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग और म्यूचुअल कोऑपरेशन ये होता है कि यस हाउ डू वी इम्प्रूव बिकॉज द मोमेंट इंडस्ट्री रियलाइज्ड ओके जो मैंने बताया कि आइडिया ये है कि कॉस्ट ज़्यादा इन्वेस्ट नहीं होगा इनफैक्ट उसका वैल्यू एडिशन ज़्यादा होगा. डिज़ाइन हमेशा वही दिखाएगी कि आपको इन्वेस्ट करने की इतनी ज़्यादा ज़रूरत नहीं है उसका वैल्यू एडिशन ज़्यादा होगा. जस्ट गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल स्पेशली बिकॉज योर क्वेश्चन इज मोर रिलेटेड टू क्राफ्ट राइट. वो क्राफ्ट स्टूडेंट्स ने काम किया था स्टोन क्राफ्ट्स के लिए. तो एक जो कप बनाते हैं मार्केट में वो यूज़ होता है किचन उसमें और ये वो पूरा दिन क्राफ्ट्समैन काम करके 80 रुपया 100 रुपया कमाता है. डिज़ाइनर्स they changed everything which is what I think Vivaarta also they created anything. So instead of I mean it can be placed at a much better position and everything. So instead of 100 rupees design that the industry can charge 400 rupees 500 rupees क्योंकि उसका वैल्यू एडिशन ज़्यादा हो गया राइट. अभी वो किचन पे यूज़ करने के बदले में ऑफिस में यूज़ होता है पीसी सॉरी राइट. तो डिज़ाइन का मेनली जो है एडवांटेज उसी तरफ से होता है. ज़्यादातर डिज़ाइनर उसमें बहस नहीं करते कि नहीं हम तो इतना पैसा इन्वेस्ट नहीं करोगे तो नहीं होगा इस तरह से नहीं होता है. सो डिज़ाइन वर्क मोर ऑन अ पॉजिटिव साइड राइट मोर ऑन अ काइंड ऑफ ऑल्सो कोलैबोरेटिव कोऑपरेटिव बेस.
Thank you, Shashank sir. So last question.
My question is like, do you help design innovators or like for the prior art search or any such innovations which has already happened? Because if they come up with something you develop and then later on when the product is ready they come to know that the such similar design is already in existence. So
right. Okay, good question. Right, any designers जो है वो the moment they take up a project ने तो काफ़ी बड़ा रिसर्च उसमें होता है. ऑलमोस्ट 50-60% टाइम रिसर्च में ही चला जाता है राइट. तो यूज़र रिसर्च होता है राइट मार्केट रिसर्च होता है तो उसी में भी काफ़ी जो है नए अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ निकलती है राइट. ओके तो दो चीज़ें हैं. सो नाउ कमिंग टू योर क्वेश्चन एक तो ये है कि अगर आपका खुद का प्रोडक्ट है फिर भी डिज़ाइनर विल टेक अप अ रिसर्च टू फाइंड आउट कि मार्केट में क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है क्या ये होता है. दैट इज़ वन. lot of industries and especially large industries today hire designers only to find out कि नई opportunities क्या है. तो one of the strength of designers वही है कि ऑब्जर्वेशन जो है, क्यूरियोसिटी है, वो कि मार्केट में अपॉर्चुनिटीज़, नई अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ क्या मिल रही है, राइट, मार्केट में नए ट्रेंड्स क्या आ रहे हैं, नया सोशल जो है चेंजेस क्या हो रहा है, right? तो डिजाइनर्स ऑल्सो वर्क ऑन आइडेंटिफाइंग, that's why I mean, in fact, there is a huge kind of a different entire direction which is emerging in design, which is future forecasting. Not only for product and industries, even for countries, right? What is going to happen after five years? What is going to happen after 10 years? Right? There are different methods of future forecasting, because आप अगर देख लो बड़ी, I mean, car manufacturing industry, they bring out new car only after 5 years, right? And by that time they realize that no, I mean, all that what they are bringing out is not in kind of a required now. That will be huge loss, right? So future forecasting का understanding of the trends is a one critical strength of a designer, right? For identifying opportunities जो आपने बताया. So one of the way is that this also. Second opportunity, if अगर आपने कुछ product develop किया है, idea develop किया है, there is a huge difference between the idea that is developed by MSME. Right? Most of the time, MSME develop a prototype, and then they think that this is a product that I have developed. Put it out in the market. In fact, there's only a prototype. That has to go through design development process, which is what I think quite a few examples which Amit also shown and everything, right? So there's a huge difference between the idea and product, first maybe working product that MSME has developed and what sells in the market. So there's a second opportunity that has exists. Third opportunity is that markets are already saturated, and within that, if you want to improve your own product, that's a third opportunity that exists. Right? So designers works in all those possibilities.
No, my question is totally different. Suppose if today
you ask now, you prior research जो है, normally designers don't do it. It is done by the the law agencies. They do it actually.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking, when they come to you, do you help or they send them?
I couldn't get it. What is do you? So the point here is,
supposing if I come with some new product design to you, and will you be able to help me in prior, or I would have to take some outside person service, or you have some in-house facility? That is because finding an opportunity and things and prior search and international is a different ballgame.
What happens is, when the research what he was talking about, we sometimes also do that, but not to that extent which a law firm will do it. Okay. Yeah. So
they have
so if it is a very technical product, so then it will be done by the technical team.
Yes, that is what I was trying to.
So that prior research is done normally by them. Yeah.
I just wanted to know that because this is not for me. This is for the general people, because
what you are saying is a patent.
I have already filed my 6 design patents in 2019. Last month I filed one more provisional patents for my product, automatic fire curtains. Next month I'm going to file another patents for so. So I've gone through all this. I'm asking this question for the others who are willing to come to you for this.
So the patent search that you mentioned, okay, that is something which also already we discussed about it and thing. That is another kind of also department that helps, law firm that helps and everything, and that also requires prior search. So that also they do it.
No, but I think if you even copy a simple design, then also you are infringing someone's design, and you can face a lot of music.
Right.
So I'm talking about, just for other people, this thing that they should look for this before developing product full-fledged and then maybe falling in trouble.
So in fact, now there's a major area which is emerging where designers, prior to take up a new design project, they have to do all this kind of a patent search, right? Because you spend so much of money and time and everything, and then later on you realize that it's already somebody has done it. Okay, and it's already patented, it creates a major problem. Right? Okay, so there's also new area that is emerging, which is a patent search, the prior search that happens.
So you guide them to go for this.
What is happening is that if you take design, I was mentioning earlier also, you have two aspects. One is the industrial design, and second is the engineering design. Okay? So when there is a technical design, so normally the companies, they themselves do the prior research. Some design firms will be incapable of doing that. Okay, so if you are going to an industrial design firm with a technical concept, So they will not be able to do they will do it in a broader sense, but not to that specific thing. So for that, you will have to go to a specialist who will do that prior research for you. Yeah. So for MSMEs, the broader aspect can be done by the design firms, but when it comes to specifics, they will have to go to these patent lawyers, who will actually do they have a process for that, yeah.
All right, thank you. So the formal discussions have concluded here, but we would again encourage you to informally discuss with the guests that we have. Also, the catalogs that are kept in front of you, that is for you, so you can take it with you when you go back, and you can look at what the IMARC winners are. Now, finally, I would like to thank all the panel members and also AMA for their support, especially Himaniji from AMA, and also Sri Umesh Dikshit and Dr. Jaimin Vyas. Finally, I would like to welcome Dr. Amit to felicitate the panel members. Mr. Amit Paul, please. Shashank sir. Miss Apurva. Mr. Pawan. So, I would like to request Varun to hand over this to Dr. Amit. Thank you. So, we will finally be concluding the sessions here, and we would like to welcome everyone. First, we'll have a photo here. A photo of the panel, and we would also like to have a group photo after that with everyone.